The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Psalm 34:17. Understanding Psalm 34:17. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Psalm 34:17, NIV. This verse is a powerful promise of divine attentiveness and deliverance. It assures us that God is not distant or indifferent, but actively responsive to the cries of those who seek Him. It's a verse that reinforces both God's closeness to the faithful and His power to rescue them from life's hardships. Let's discuss the historical biblical context of this verse. It is attributed to King David. This psalm was written after he pretended madness before Abimelech in 1 Samuel 21, narrowly escaping danger by God's intervention. It is a psalm of praise and testimony. David was running for his life, hiding in caves, facing betrayal and fear. Yet out of this desperate moment comes a psalm filled with trust, gratitude, and declarations of God's faithfulness. Psalm 34 is an acrostic poem. Each verse begins with a successive letter of the Hebrew alphabet, emphasizing completeness and order in God's care, even in chaos. The theological significance of the wording, "the righteous cry out." This refers to those who live in relationship with God, not perfect people, but those sincerely seeking God with humility and trust. "The Lord hears them" is a deeply comforting affirmation that God listens. He is not silent or inactive in the face of suffering. His hearing implies care, attention, and readiness to act. He delivers them from all their troubles. This is not a guarantee of a pain-free life, but of divine rescue, support, and eventual victory. God doesn't always prevent trouble, but He promises to be present in it and to bring good from it. In Catholic and broader Christian interpretation, this verse affirms God's compassionate presence and readiness to intervene, especially when the faithful turn to Him in sincere need. Many cling to this verse in seasons of grief, illness, fear, or injustice. It reassures us that our prayers are heard, even when answers seem delayed. This verse encourages believers to cry out honestly. Raw, real, and reverent prayer is welcomed by God. It calls the faithful to trust not only in God's willingness to deliver, but also in His timing and method. Deliverance may unfold gradually or look different than expected, but it's always rooted in love. Psalm 34:18 continues the theme. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Matthew 5:4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. 1 Peter 3:12. Peter references Psalm 34 directly, affirming that God's ears are attentive to the prayers of the righteous. Romans 8:28 echoes the same principle. God works all things, including trouble, for the good of those who love Him. God responds to all sincere, humble prayer, and especially draws near to the poor, the brokenhearted, the sick, and the oppressed. Suffering united with Christ becomes a channel of grace. While deliverance may not always be immediate or physical, spiritual rescue and interior strength are definite fruits of God's hearing. Saints like Saint Teresa of Avila and Saint John Paul II remind us that even in hardship, God is present and purposeful. God hears us, our cries, our fears, and our pain are never ignored. Deliverance comes, not always in the form we imagine, but always with God's perfect wisdom and love. Prayer is powerful because it connects us with a God who listens and acts. This verse offers hope not just for the righteous of David's time, but for any believer facing trouble today. Psalm 34:17 is a beacon of hope, assuring the faithful that God's ears are open, His heart is tender, and His hand is strong to save. It encourages us to cry out with confidence, knowing that when we do, we are truly heard and ultimately delivered. Psalm 34:17 is more than an ancient promise. It is a living source of comfort and hope for people around the world today. Across cultures and denominations, this verse reassures believers that God hears every sincere cry for help. In times of natural disasters, war, illness, or personal crisis, it is commonly quoted in prayers, sermons, and spiritual writings to remind the faithful that no trouble is too small or too great for God's attention. Psalm 34:17 is especially significant in regions facing persecution, poverty, or social unrest. It encourages Christians and others that hardship is not a sign of being abandoned, but rather an opportunity to experience God's sustaining presence. This verse features prominently in Christian liturgy worldwide. It is recited in times of mourning, in hospitals, prisons, and during international crises, offering hope that deliverance, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, comes from God. The verse is not used to suggest believers are exempt from suffering. Rather, it teaches that God walks alongside the righteous in their trials and provides deliverance in His way and timing. This speaks to a universal human experience, suffering, hope, and the search for meaning. While rooted in the Jewish and Christian traditions, its message of divine attentiveness resonates with many seeking hope in difficult times, regardless of their particular faith background. Let's look deeper into a verse that has brought healing, comfort, and strength to believers for centuries, Psalm 34:17. It says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." But what does this really mean? Does God always take our troubles away, or is there something deeper going on here? One of the most beautiful ideas in this verse is that God hears, not just when things are calm, not just when we pray perfectly, but when we cry out, even in fear, frustration, or exhaustion. Imagine that. Every time we whisper a prayer, sob in silence, or call out in pain, we're not speaking into empty space. We're being heard. Have you ever cried out to God and felt like He wasn't listening? How did you grow through that silence, or how did He eventually show up? Further, the verse says He delivers them from all their troubles. But let's be honest, many of us are still in trouble. So what kind of deliverance is this? God doesn't promise to remove every problem instantly. Sometimes the deliverance is internal, peace in the chaos, strength to endure, comfort that sustains, or the community that surrounds you. Could it be that God's version of rescue is different than ours? That deliverance isn't always escape, but often transformation? The righteous still cry. This verse also tells us that the righteous still cry out. Being faithful doesn't exempt us from pain. Christians struggle, saints weep. Even Jesus cried out in the garden and on the cross. Are we too quick to define righteousness as a life free from struggle? Or can righteousness also mean leaning into God when things fall apart? Look around. Conflict, mental health struggles, loss, uncertainty. Psalm 34:17 reminds us that God hasn't gone silent. He is still in the business of hearing. He's still rescuing, reviving, healing, but often through process, people, and faith over time. Let me ask you, what trouble are you in right now that you can bring before God in total honesty, no filters? How would your life change if you lived as if you truly believed He hears you? Psalm 34:17 is not about escaping life's hardship. It's about finding God's nearness in the middle of it. It's about knowing that your cry doesn't fall on deaf ears and that whatever you're facing, He is already there working toward your good. Whether you believe wholeheartedly, question everything, or fall somewhere in between, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open enough to listen, reflect, and consider something deeper. If Psalm 34:17 has sparked something in you, whether comfort or curiosity, I hope you take a moment today to consider this. What if the cry of your heart is heard even when you're not sure who you're crying to? We don't claim to have all the answers, but we do believe in a God who hears, who cares, and who meets us exactly where we are, even in our doubts. I'm truly grateful you've spent this time with us. Your presence matters, and we count it a blessing to walk through questions and reflections together. I'd love to hear what this verse means to you, especially if it made you pause, challenge a belief, or feel something you didn't expect. Please leave a comment below. Let's build a space for honest, thoughtful conversation. Just a quick note, some of the links in the description may be affiliate links. If you choose to make a purchase through them, it helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. Thank you for helping us keep this project going. If you appreciate content like this and want to support our mission, we'd love to have you join our Patreon community for just $1 a month. It's a small step that makes a big difference as we continue creating honest, hopeful content for people exploring faith. And don't forget, please like the video, hit subscribe, share it with someone who might need it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice adds real value to this conversation. Whether you're full of faith or full of questions, you are welcome here. You are seen, you are valued, and you are not alone. Until next time, peace and blessings to you.